welcome to the knowledge series for Yogakshema. I am joined by Dr. Usha, the founder of Yogakshema Rehabilitation and Wellness Center. Today's session we will be covering mindful parenting. Willpower is very important to succeed. How does one improve the faculty of willpower in children?
This is the faculty of the conscious mind. Extremely important for everybody. Kids, adults, and this is what distinguishes us humans from the rest of the animal kingdom, right? The discerning power and the willpower. There's a very interesting correlation between the two. I think with young kids, they have a lot of willpower. We don't realize this. They have a lot of willpower, but not enough discerning power. Whereas with adults, because of our life experience, we have a lot of discerning power, but
not enough willpower?
May not be. As we get old, the willpower for anybody, not even just age, willpower will always give us trouble. So this we need to be aware of. But the willpower, what we talk about, to do something that is good, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for the kids, many a times it turns out as won't power. I don't want to do that. If the kid says once, even a 2-year-old, if he does not want to eat something, that is nothing but that willpower in action, you know.
Manifests as tantrums.
Exactly, that we call that as won't power, that's all. But there are different ways we can improve the willpower based on the age of the kid. Parents have to come up with creative ways of doing this. And of course, we have seen this, how willpower is so important by so much research that has been done with that, what we call as marshmallow experiment, right? We don't even need to get into that. However, the discerning power is where the parents need to figure out many different ways what kind of life experiences the parents can give for the kids to build this discerning power.
Yeah.
We need to consciously work on these things, just how our parents did in an autopilot mode. Parenting happened. This is not the time and day for that to happen. Parents need to really consciously, willfully, and they themselves have to learn and figure out creative ways how we can develop this discerning power even amongst young kids.
And for a layman, discerning power is really the ability to think about what is good in the long term. Is that the way to look at it, or is there?
Absolutely, that is enough. Otherwise, see, our parents brought in the issue of morality. It became easier for discerning power.
Yes.
Now we are trying to bring our kids from not just faith-based, even the morality, now we talk more as values. That means here you can understand the importance of values. The parents really have to dig deep and then think about age-appropriate values. Even those values need to change many different ways so that by the time a kid is a teenager or a young adult, parents would have brought up with many values. Bringing up the kids with values, we are going to help develop the discerning power. The kid will naturally be able to, with again.
So in a way, it's a way to build discerning power.
Exactly.
But if a child does not have discerning power, right, or it's too young to have discerning power, how do you kind of?
That's where when we have certain values at home, both the parents, it is part of the culture of the family. We don't have to say how do we make the kid understand. When the kids, the parents are doing it, it's all about walking the talk. The kid will do what you do, not what you say. So the values, the values are put into action, not told verbally to the kids. Don't lie, don't do this, don't waste food, none of this. Maybe feels like instructions, but as parents we are doing that, right? And that is what the kid would respond.
How do we guide our children to make right choices?
Because there are so many choices. Now, parents have to have a clear-cut understanding about this free will, power to choose. That means the discerning power, we need to be exercising, using our willpower as parents to exercise certain choices, what is good for short term, what is good for long term. This is the hardest part, and this is the most powerful faculty that we have, that only humans can exercise this faculty to the fullest extent. And again, this is where as parents we need to know not just for our senses but also freedom from the senses, but you also need freedom for the senses. So we need to be clever enough as parents to give choices for our kids to choose, even freedom for the senses, so that you will be in that safe zone.
Within the boundary.
Within the boundary.
The boundary is defined by the parent because the child will want to extend that boundary.
Of course. So age dependent, you still have to be able to do that, but still within the safe limits. That's a good question.
How does one set boundaries?
This is where there are certain choices. You come up with these choices as a family, not just parents making these choices and then letting the kids know. Then it will be just like what our parents have.
Yeah.
We have to come to terms as a family that there are certain choices that they are negotiable, there are certain choices that are non-negotiable. Everybody has to agree, and then we need to keep up with that.
A lot of it you're talking about is in a way co-creating that ecosystem of boundary setting. Can you just elaborate?
That's right. So there's a simple model, ABC model. A is for action or non-action. B is our belief system about that action. What if we take that, what will happen? If we don't do that, what will happen? The belief system about that. And then C is for consequences. This, without using any of these technical terms, of course, parents will be able to come up with creative ways to make even young kids understand. Many times kids understand the consequences, but we as parents, we give in because of our emotional nature, that we want to make our kids happy. This is where the challenge for the parents is to stick to the consequences of the action or non-action.
Yeah, for both parents to stick together to the consequences of the action, because somebody will want to stick, somebody may not want to stick.
Exactly, you hit it on the nail. So we need both the parents have to come to terms with that negotiable choices and non-negotiable choices, and with that ABC model.
Sounds like a lot of work, auntie.
But look, this is all about knowledge. We as parents are learning so much, and even the learning has to be joyous.
Yeah.
And then when we put it into action about parenting, then the parenting becomes joyous. Ultimately,
so on a more serious note, auntie, essentially what you're saying is you give a lot of free space, but you define what actions you are allowed to take based on what belief systems convince them that the action that they are about to take is acceptable, and if they cross that boundary, there will be consequences. Is that the way you frame it?
Absolutely. One thing is about the time factor, and I think there is a saying, you cannot start digging the well when the house is on fire.
Yeah.
So this has to start
very
from
early.
How does one work on the faculty of concentration?
Again, there is so much work that has been done, and then we can try and develop our own ways of helping the kid to focus and concentrate, and then to be in the flow comes later as a teenager and whatnot. But there is ample scientific evidence-based research on this aspect of focusing and concentration. Now, as a scientist, I can clearly say beyond any doubt that mindfulness or meditation, if you want to use that broad term, truly helps in the focusing power or on the concentration. So much so this has been used and being used even with young kids in the West. And I see that mostly in alternate schools here in India. It's also becoming mainstream. Hopefully, that is what my hope, wish, and prayer, that mindfulness or meditation as a tool to increase focus and concentration. Of course, this point is not just for the kids, for adults, for homemakers, for retirees. Each and every one of us need to keep improving our focusing power and our concentration power. And the easiest way is to be doing mindful breathing, simple meditation, just 5 minutes every day, just to focus on our breath. 5 minutes is enough. But because of the law of association, again bringing neuroscience into this, sitting at the same place every day, each day, every day, at the same time, just giving 5 minutes for ourselves and believing in science that it will definitely improve our concentration and focus is enough sure way to improve focusing power.